let's get serious. All right, let's get serious. Okay, so we're back to this bullshit cave generator. So we'll want to make some simple cave assets, some like rocks, some basic textures, and then we'll throw it up for sale. But good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Get some music started. Let's chill. I had to sleep in a little bit this morning. Uh, yeah. Oh, actually, and I'm uploading my Goblin Gang. So, thumbnail. Can I just use my? I'm gonna do camera. First, we'll want to link. Say available for purchase. Here. I'll slap down the description. I hate that it's so spaced out. And we'll put in my hashtag here. I'm supposed to do it. Resonate, VR chat, Unity, C, B, D&D, fantasy. Yeah, I want all of this down here too. Goblin. Yeah. NPC. D&D. RP. RPG. VR. World reality. Fantasy. NPC. Avatars. VR chat. Base. Avatar. Enemy. Monster. Unity. Dev. 3 assets. We'll go with that. This will be gaming. Well, I guess sure. And add a link. That would be cool. Join the YouTube partner program. I'd love to. Love to. All right. So go ahead and publish. Gonna go old Pooby. Oh. video uploaded. Now I would like to get the link and add it to my avatar thing here. Edit product. And no, yes. Video. First save. Okay. And yeah, we'll do more later. For now, just gonna do that. All right, back to this. So what we'd like to do is create an option to constrain these. So we'll hop in here, go ahead and make a Boolean value right here, which we'll call scale x, y. This will be a Boolean. Default true. And so in here, once we get our vector, we'll just want to replace this one value right here. So we'll do compare. Be a bool. Or actually if. It's an input, mesh boolean. Can't do just a boolean compare. Oh, string, vector, color. Oh, sure. Maybe there's boolean logic. I think that's what it is. There's a whole boolean logic thing. Boolean math. There we go. Should be or. If this is not equal true, no, that seems stupid. It's here. Up one, there's a switch, I think. Yeah, switch. Okay, that's what I want. I don't need any comparison. It's already Boolean. Just need to tell it Boolean. Wait. All right, I'm sitting. You want standing? GeoNode. That's geometry. Not. Why am I confused by this? I want to swap. Oh, yeah. Okay. Stupid. All right. So if this is true, then we replace this value here. But if it's false, we just give it the normal value. So that way, when we're scaling our assets, I can go here and I could say lock the scale. That way, they don't distort. I think lastly, I would want to use an absolute value and a map range so that it never gets super, super thin. I guess that's up to who's using it. If you want them to be able to get that thin, that's up to you. So yeah. 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 But now this should actually be for the variation. So we're going to go back in one more time. Take this, scale variation XY lock. So I think that's all the different pieces we'd like. What we want to do now is get rid of our instances. And we're going to replace those with cooler assets in a moment. Actually do a little bit of sculpting, make them look a little bit interesting. Multi-res, you know it. Right, and this whole little section we replaced with this instance with variation. So make the points, feed it the instance, good to go. I guess we could include this option here or use normals, align to normals. Yeah, I think we will. Take this, have the normal rotation. So we want one more little option in here, or this is the scale in here. I can actually just duplicate this. So it's a little more self-contained. Do this. This is just the scale here. Make it nice and easy. Now what I'd like to do white scale, I duplicated this one. Can I duplicate the output? Yeah. It does all need to feed back up into this one. No real way to avoid that. So yeah, we'll just keep the group output there. But we can have multiple inputs so that just a little bit nicer, a little more nicely organized. Because I know these aren't going to change, so. Good stuff. Hello, Arctic. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome. Because now we would also like to include a input for geometry, which we'll call geometry for normals. And make another value input here, which will be a Boolean, which we'll call align rotation to normals. Like this theme just doesn't quite have enough contrast. We'll have to look up a different theme later. All right, but if we get the geometry, then we can go ahead. What we would do, review this, take a little screenshot actually. So we'd capture the attribute first and foremost. And it would be a vector. I guess we'll use face actually. And we capture that into normal. So we take the geometry. Align it. And then to feed it into our random range, we have this add. So that's where our switch is going to come in. Oh my god, let me see. Back out one more time. More complete screenshot. So to review, the rotation here, if we're using the normals, we have this add. That's actually where we need to change it. We would need to, take the input for the rotation, feed it into here, and then switch between them. We're either doing an offset which actually might be better. Do we have can we offset rotation? No, add would work, because if we go to a negative value, it's going to work fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right. Let's get this back. Switch here using the align. If it's true for aligning, then we're going to use our vector math to add the normals from our geometry. Oh, this does require us passing the geometry through, doesn't it? Sort of. This one doesn't pass it along. It just uses it. So it should work. Okay, we'll come back to that. That could be a problem, that we don't pass the geometry out. It never gets used. Might also have other ways to store this attribute. Because I can store an attribute. Capture. Capture. Store. All right, but we take our normal, and we're going to add the rotation to it. And if it's true that we're going to use the normals, then we feed it in here, and this is the one we use. But if we're not using the normals, then we just use the rotation directly without doing the normal calculation. And I just want like a little bit of space between them. Beautiful. CIA. Quarky. Welcome. Welcome. Look at our beautiful node graph. Beautiful, beautiful node graph. I like to frame the selection. Ah, not quite what I was hoping for. What great Blender balls am I looking at? We're making a cave generator. Should be able to say rotation. This one will be scale. one will be the instancing. I like that one. All right, so let's go back up. Take a big swig of coffee. Delicious. Okay, and we're going back down. I would like to also clean up my vector random range. So make this look nicer. So I don't think we have too much more to do. Not too much to this one. I don't really know how. I don't feel like there's anything to frame there. So leave that one alone. Snap these. Move this one up. Before I do that, take all these. It's extra, but you know, I'm going to be selling it, so might as well make it look super nice. It goes a long way. Actually, I just messed something up. Which does not have a value here. No, that's right. Because yeah, that's us constraining the values. If I remember correctly. Oop. Right. That looks weird. Kind of scary. This definitely makes me feel more wizard-like in my abilities. Like, ah, incomprehensible spaghetti, aka magic runes. I should ensure that every node I have is the same. They are. Nice. And this I don't need anymore because we've included it in our object here. there's two main ways to distribute. There's the just pick a surface. It does bug me when the line doesn't line up. It's not straight. Hurry. I want it to be straight. All right, beautiful stuff. Compared to the what I started with, this feels really beautiful, elegant. Actually, I might as well just duplicate these because it does look nicer this way. We'll do geometry over here, main geometry, and for each of these, I'm just going to feed the group input indirectly. So, all nice and contained. Yeah. Wow. Super extra. Align it all. Align everything. I wish there was a way to. Is there a way to make a grid? Oh yeah. Oh ho ho. All right. There's a grid. Snapping. Beautiful. That makes it a little easier. I'm doing this so often. Switch this over just a little. So yeah, right next to each other. All right, beautiful stuff. Um, I'm curious if I got rid of the join geometry and I just plugged all of these directly into the output, what does that look like? Well, we're about to find out because I need to create more instances. So on our cave generator, we'll make a I could drag in objects. So let's make some objects we can instance. So I'm gonna make a cube. Oh, it's a cave. And we'll make a new collection called cave. And in the assets, we'll move our cube. And boom. Scale that down. Just remaking a stalactite. Being a little bit more manual this time so we can get the best of both worlds. So we'll call this. Okay. I need to look it up. Stalagmite versus stalactite. Stalactites grow down, mites grow up. Okay. Doesn't really matter because it's gonna. We could use it as both. pointy rock. Okay, and then back to here. And we can take our pointy rock and we can just boom. C for ceiling, G for ground. Ah, that's a good way to remember it. I like that. See, black tights. I will remember it using that. The power of brains. General floor. It's already had rotation in it, which is why it's doing that. Now we got our cone. This should be making them spin. This should also be making them rotate. We can make them rotate, so that's working fine. It's, it's something really weird. Hello, Zoom. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Working more on our cave generator, aka scatter systems. And we're having fun, maybe? Oh my god, my hair. What the fuck? Okay. Excuse me. This is the vertex group. Painted a little bit more over here. We'd get a little bit more. All right, cool. I'm here once again. Well, welcome back, Dragon Wolf. We're working on a cave generator. Making it cool. Make it cool. Oh, we're missing the vector variation. That would totally explain why I was having no influence. And it does not appear to be capturing the normals when we switch. So we do need to pass the geometry out in some capacity. It's not that screenshot. What did I do with it originally? I passed it into the distribute points in vertex group. But we can't do that because we've kind of moved it down the line to this object. Just delete it. That'd be enough. Delete geometry. Go back up one. Oh no, I'm not even passing it in. So, for sure, if that's what that. Okay, I need to rearrange some of this stuff. Now, if I hit align, still nothing happens. Cool. Okay, we do have our rotation. Maybe oddly. But our variation is working now, which is good. At least get some variation in there. They're just pointing just this way, so I think I must have something wrong in here. The way I'm passing it in, or no, not there. The rotation, and over here. Oh, I'm doing a float. We should be switching a vector. That would make sense. Okay, but they're still pointed the wrong way, so that means that in here, separate it, I add the variation, vector random range, range variation, feed this in. Right. This should actually be called something like create value range. So we create a range of values, then we feed it into the random value. Or I include random value variation. Value randomizing. And I'm going to take this one, go in here, paste it. Random value. Change this to just be min x. That on our output, just say varied value. Okay, let me go back up and get rid of these. Much cleaner. I like that. And now we know that our error has to be inside of this. That'll make it a lot easier to change, minimizing the errors. So it's probably this here, this float less than. Let's switch it to greater than. Greater than or equal. This is just saying subtract and add. Using. It's quite hard to tell what's happening in here. I'm going to edit. and just feed these in directly. So that way you can view it a lot easier. I don't know if I need this comparison. So let's think about it. We get a value coming in, and we get the range. That range is either 0 or 1. 0 or anything greater than 1. And for our random value node, it's just a min and max. And we're either getting our value and subtracting 0. That's our minimum. Or we're getting a value and we're either adding 0. That's our random range right there. Yeah, so we don't need a comparison this low level. We just give it a value and we're getting back a random value within that range. Let's confirm that. So for example, I give it 2. 2 comes in here. This is spelled wrong. Renage. The value comes in here, and we subtract from it. So 0 in this case, 0.299. So we should get out negative 0.299, which we do. And we get 0.299. So now we're getting a value between negative 2999 and 2999. If we increase the value we're receiving in, should be more. So perhaps it there is not in here. It's in here as we use the rotation variation. Say this way. Yeah. They're certainly not all pointing the same way, so. But it does seem to favor this direction. I would expect it to go the other way. So what is incorrect is splitting the range. I should just be multiplying it by. I have to first multiply it by -1 and then add the value in. That's the range. Yes. Okay, so go in further. Value randomizing. So instead of subtracting, the problem is this subtraction. If I go to add, we want to add, or no, we do want to, we do the exact same thing, but we just multiply it by -1. There we go. Now they should go either direction instead of just one direction, and now they are. Okay. Good. That's more realistic. Cool. All right. And I believe I solved this issue. We go in here for the scale. We do the same thing, but we make it absolute, so we can't get a negative scale. We won't flip it inside out. Okay, so now we should be good. Now we definitely can just start making some more instances. So I'm going to make another pointy rock. We'll bring in the rock again. We'll duplicate it here. And we're going to instance it on the ceiling this time. Wait. Should be 1. No, this is 0. But we can rotate it 90 degrees, 180 degrees. Boom. Variation. That should not be the variation. Alright, so these are swapped. These are incorrect here. Rotation, variation goes there. Needs to be swapped. Ah. Here's the vector with the normal addition, which I don't think we've gotten quite working yet. We have a rotation, and we feed that into the vector random range. When we rotate the variation, we get variation. We rotate the rotation, we also get variation. Not in here. It has to be in here. We're multiplying the value. Okay. So the value we have here, when we add it, if there's 0 range, then it just keeps the value. But here we actually do add it and then multiply it. So what we would need to do to get the minimum so we want the bottom possible. So it should go when it's 0. No, not when it's 0. 0 is the wrong metaphor. It should be when it's 1, add it, and then we flip it. We still start pushing down into the minimum. It should be the same. Okay. We do a switch. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Is just float, or we do a compare. If the float equals 0, so if our range equals 0, which would mean true, then we just use our regular value. And if it's greater than 0, we use this one. So it means we start rotating and things rotate normally, and then we give that some variation in there. So they snap. So that's not desired. Yeah, let's I'm gonna do a vertical split. So I can stay on this up top, and we'll go in to our value once again. And that way I can start tweaking these while we're also in the bottom of it. All right. Three. I'll be a lot better at math after I figure all this shit out. So let's say we have a value, rotation of 1. 1. And we do have variation on right now. So in general, this is working as I would want it to right now. It's also not quite rotating correctly. Kind of swizzles them. I can't go down. The variation does go both ways, though. Just really extreme here. And that has to be the switch that we're doing. So we're getting the maximum fine, right? Yep, we just get our value and we add up. So if we have 2, the variation is 1, then the maximum value would be 3. Maximum range would be 3. That seems super simple. To go the other way, why wouldn't subtract just work, though? We have a value of 3. Yeah, we want, okay, what I had in the very beginning. It does appear to be working. 0. 1 again. We have it slightly rotated on this axis, so we'll give a rotation there. And then if I give rotation there. It does go both ways, so okay. I don't know why I was confused. I must have misinterpreted something. This is working. All right. We went on a very roundabout adventure just to go back to what we had before. So, and if I want variation, I'm just going to keep playing with this till we know for sure. Okay, I think that's... No, that's right. I'm rotating this one. And then if I want variation on this one, I think I was confused about which one I was rotating. It has to be the actual issue. Is confusing this. Here, let's take out rotation in the title and just say variation and rotation, instance rotation. That might just be offset variation, rotation variation, scale variation. Oh, okay. And we can offset them. Let's rotate them. I would expect this to be 360, not 3, right? And it's working, so I'm not going to fuck with it too much, because I would like to keep it working. Cool. We're missing a few controls on the instance. Gotta go. Sounds good, Dragon. We'll catch you later. No, there's no instance in there because the distribution points is determined in here. So this does need our density value. And we'll include the seed as well. Why not? Awesome. That's feeling a lot better. Thank goodness. Okay, and then let's see if we can get the alignment to work properly. So these are the ceiling spikes. We don't have the geometry in there just yet. This needs to be changed. We're not feeding out geometry, we are feeding out points. Which I will change to... That's fine. I want to make sure I'm giving as much of this distribute out. That should be expected. I think the same here. We only feed out instances here. But we also would like to be able to pick our instance and give it the instance index, because that's what would be normally expected. Put that up here. Nice. Beautiful. Powerful. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, we can pick a direction, which we've chosen the ceiling in this case. Now we choose the floor, ceiling, we put it over there, put it over here. Beautiful. Choose whatever direction we want. Then we could also combine these points. So if I wanted it to be, say, 1, 0, the left wall, and the right wall, then I can simply join them together. This. Now we have both sides. Nice. Okay. We're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. But I want just the ceiling for the moment. All right. Zipperoonie. And for the floor, actually, I'm going to make a new asset or a new object. We'll use our icosphere again. And we'll call this round rock. And go back to our cave. And on the floor, we're using our distribute points. So switches to the round rock. Cool. All right, lets us scale. What data do points contain? If I look at out later. Cool. Just because we can, I'm gonna add a displace of the GeoNode. Give it a clouds. Go back here. And now everything's just a little bumpy. Cool. Good stuff. Sorry, everyone. Sorry for the texting. Oh, I forgot to turn on music. I haven't opened up YouTube. YouTube. points. Change the range. Change the density. Oh, I see. Of course, it's going to get the side too if it's got bumps. That's a reflection of this place. I guess I would want one little control here. We could have the dot product of the normal. I guess we could also give it magnitude. Magnitude? Scale. And so if I turn that back on, nothing's changed, but this should allow us to cut it out of the top, should we desire. So I will take this, put it there, and density, put it, scale, call this fall off. So we don't want it to be, so the default should be 1. We want it further in, or we want it clamped. In fact, I should go in here. I don't want it to be able to go into negative values. Get confusing. Beautiful. All right, I have to go to the restroom real quick. BRB, 1 moment.
Blender 4.0 information, right? Pieces become instances. So here I've instanced them onto a line with 2 points. We have 2 different groups and they are both instances. Of course, it also has a selection input so that you don't have to do this on all of the geometry that you input. This is a lot less intuitive than with the index switch, which is somewhat unfortunate. I feel like this could be implemented in the same way, and I expect that in a future update they're going to change this around. My part what this helped our on camera. I think this is
Hello. Gosh darn it. But hello, Sai. Welcome. We're making a little cave generator today. Mask points based on direction. That should be fine. So, what we want is we want to get what we've kind of done before. We get the normal and the dot product. So we need a vector map. And the normal, so we'll say dot product. Boom. This will be the normal. And this will be our target vector in a little bit. And then we want to compare. And if the value is greater than this, or perhaps less than, then we take our geometry and delete it. I should be able to say greater than. I guess we want this normal here. Yes. Okay, perfect. Now we can paint and constrain onto a surface. Very cool. Very. So take these, put that into their own node, and we'll call this one should be mask points in direction. point, point. That's and this should be the normal. Name this to normal. And then add this one. And move the geo to the top. Okay. So now, if it's 0, nothing happens. It's actually pretty nice. If I just included this with it, I could just say point mask direction. This is actually going to be better than this very quickly because so funny. I'm basically just making the ultimate scatter node. Goofy. But this way, when I paint it, it'll only ever appear on the bottom or some other surface like that. And we can also change the density. And I could even do another vector map for the scale. Maybe not. Or no, I would want to add it here. Not quite how that worked. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's really satisfying. If like really smooth proper stones, then I could even mask them to be on the bottom of stuff. Little mushrooms or something. Blender makes me feel so powerful. I love it. This offset's not working. These, delete them really quick. Delete those. I'll leave that like this. And then actually instance. We have rotation, we've got scale, and now we need so basically when we get our instance, we want to translate it. And we have vector random range. Yeah, that's what I want. Vector random range. Because we feed in the offset and the variation, put that into the translation. And then these all get wired out over to this other one. That's the instance. Then the points. And yeah, let's double check that. So if I go over here, now I should be able to take my top ones and do a little offsetting. Nope. Realized data input geometry is ignored. Okay, let's translate instances. How about transform geometry? So we get our instance. Then we do right. This is the error I encountered last time. That's because it's a field. Okay. Then we're doing this at the wrong spot. What I need to do is put it after we make the instances. Once we make the instances, so this all just gets plugged right in. There's the points. This is the instance that's got plugged into selection. Selection. I don't think we need that right now. But that actually would be useful to have, so we'll also drop that in and put it below points. We don't need it right now, but at some point. Then here. Okay, and now we will translate instances. So now we actually have instances. Before we did not. We were trying to move input geometry or something like that, or just the points themselves. So then we'll take our offset random range, plug that into the translation. Now should actually be able to offset them. Yes. So that's a little bit more important for our stalactites. It should be able to move them down. Also just give them some variation there. Won't really need much variation besides on the normal direction. Yeah. Good stuff. All right, next. Do another. This right here is the film node label offset. That's the actual instancing. Instant. Beautiful. Okay. So now what we'd really like to figure out is this right here. How to actually get our stuff out of here. How do we get this out of here? I just join. Say join geometry. Stick this right here and just put this over here. Okay, that's not working. So let's leave it on. So it should be aligning. It's going to align. Another little sip. Right now you have capture attribute set to face. Maybe we need to put it back to point. Once again, join it. So this may be the wrong spot to actually join the geometry. At the very still doing too much. Okay. Do I have the input geometry? No. That would also help. So our stalactites. Okay. Obviously the rotation still works. And we should be capturing the normals now. Maybe I need to use a store. So we got the geometry. We get the normals. Then we delete the geometry. Maybe don't delete it, just to see? No. Okay. Not about deleting it, that's the issue. We delete it. B. Excuse me. I did have this working before. Are these in the main geometry? So it's got to be the capture attribute that's not working. We can store a named attribute. And we'll call geo normals. No, we don't want to store because every single one is going to be overriding that. So it captures the only one we can use. What if we just feed this in directly here? No. Yes. I do think it's how it's getting passed along. I think that's the main issue. It should be fine because we're combining it here and sending it all out. Go to here. Not deleting anything. That doesn't change it. We've got them. We are switching between vectors. That should be correct. This should work. This should be working. Can I just feed the normal directly in? No. Actually, do that again. Make sure that. Oh. Yeah, it's on. We have the geometry going in. Geometry going into both of them. Should be able to make them both align to the normals, should I desire. Just in case. Okay, this has to be the cause of what's going wrong. There's nothing else I can see that would cause this kind of issue. And in fact, I should be able to just recreate this. Let's copy these ones. Should be able to recreate this right here. So if I take the geometry here and I capture the normal, and I just put the normal directly in here, and then pass this along to the join, nothing happens, but this gets line. We're definitely capturing it. Right here. This is getting captured. It is getting passed out. It's to be. Capture store removed. Named blur. I was definitely getting it to work with the when we're instancing things. Here. I mean, it should just work. Just in case. Oh, let me. I just passed the normals, bypassing everything, going straight to instancing. Does that? Which is no good. The geometry. The geometry. There. Fuck. This should work. I should at least see something different. Like, even if I am adding it directly, what happens if I... Oh. Right, let me just to... What? Right, okay. So the other one's... Wait. Okay, yeah. So now you can tell that at least they should be different when they switch. So we're aligning with the normals. We have our add that we can put in. Right now, nothing is getting added because the capture isn't working despite it getting fed directly into the join geometry, which should allow it to continue. Okay, let's make a really simple version of this without anything else. So we'll just do instance points. That's a good question. Instance on mesh. No, instance on points. That's what I thought. Okay. So we'll take our at this. Take our points. Get an instance. Geometry. Take our standard geometry. Here. Okay, so, and then join this in. Remember, so we're doing that as we would expect. We can make these points for the rocks. And if I take the geometry, put it here, nothing happens because this does not continue. What happens if I delete geometry? Continue it. Oops. Put it into join. This was the wrong object to choose. Nothing. Okay, so that's not working either. What happens if we solve it? No. So I should train it. What am I not understanding about this? Let's get rid of everything else. It's just these instances we would expect to have. Does not in any of our nodes. This should actually just straight up be working. I don't understand. Taking in our geometry, extracting the normals, passing that into the rotation on the instance. What happens if I just put in, just take the normal here? Nothing, as expected. Rotation here, doesn't do anything. It's weird. I don't know. I definitely had this working a little while ago. I had it working yesterday. It's today's stream. I want this stream. Right here. Okay, so just the normal, they're all pointed in the right one direction. It's kind of what I'm getting right now. Align things by the surface. That worked. That worked by itself. Maybe I need something like this. Sample nearest surface. And we can take the mesh, put in the normal, then drop that into the rotation. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Fascinating. So I think what it is that the capture attribute is looking for the same points. So we capture the normals of those points and we're giving the normals back to the same set of points. If we didn't have those points to begin with, there's no way to transfer them over. We have to resample. We have to resample. That is the only thing I can think of. And this is basically working. Okay, so that's the issue. And I don't want to delete that just yet. Sample nearest surface is what I'm using, so go ahead, delete this. Bring these back. And then in here, we don't use capture attribute. sample the nearest. Oh, interesting. With sample nearest, and then sample nearest surface. I suppose we have to do surface because we want the normals. Actually, let's see. We'll try both. Sample surface. Sample nearest. This only gives us a point. So it has to be this one. So the value and the geometry for the normals gets fed into this add vector. And then we put in our rotation here. So now we can switch between the normals as we want, but they kind of are skewed. So I feel like we almost have it correct, but there's still something wrong. Maybe it's how we add. Let's try multiply. Yeah, because adding would... yeah, that makes sense. Gotta head out until the next one. Sounds good, Zoom. We'll catch you later. Enjoy your day. Definitely more of a technical one right now. Hopefully we'll get some fun stuff soon. It's gonna be a lot of nodes over the next few days. The nodes. Now looking at our stalactites. Interesting. I guess we would need multiply add because if we just leave it to multiply, it's a right way to combine normals and that looks better, I guess. Yeah. All right, so cross product. Still pretty bad. Reject. product is chaotic. Super chaotic. But I guess some of these points might be on the other side. Like if they are actually on the other side of the mesh, then they're going to sample the other face and get pointed the other way. So cross products is probably what we're looking for. Oh. And this will be our scale. This will be normal influence. And yeah, default should be 1. We don't want it to go past 0. But we can set it to 0. Fascinating. Cross product, probably no. And again, this is probably because they're just sampling poorly. I do 0.5, or do they spin to win on this side as well? Let's clamp it to 1. Can I clamp it? Default 1, max 1. Okay, much better. Interesting. Okay, so I guess I don't want the rotation here to just be 0. I actually want the instance rotation. Because if it's just 0, then things get really weird. I need to take what the rotation that's already there. Well, let's find out. So we take out the instance. How do I get the rotation here? I can get it by opening up a vector. Or no, I can just straight up plug this right in here. So I have the rotation of our object. And variation. But now they don't. No, it's right there. It's getting plugged in. Our scale, normal influence is at 1, so scale is at 1. It's still 0. I don't see how that'd make a much of a difference. Oh, of course it'd make a huge difference. So I don't want to use this vector map. There's got to be something else. So we need to combine rotation. And right now I'm using vectors to do that, but that's probably wrong. I need to, yeah, rotate a vector, not multiply or add it or something like that. We're going to take the vector here. No, this is our original rotation. We're going to rotate it by the normal. But there's other rotation options, so that's what we want to look at right now. It's not. Just mix the vectors. That actually sounds great. So we have this vector, our normal rotation. Which may explain why it wasn't a second ago as well. There we go. Okay. Okay. Yandere Waifu, hello. I have a question that no one can figure out. How to fix every time my friend puts model of VRC, it's all fine. Until it's in VRC, there's always an error bot. I was hoping you could help. I'm afraid that's not specific enough to figure out what's going on. When you say airbot, what do you mean by that? I think we figured it out. I think we've got it figured out. Yes. Yes. Sort of. Yes. So we can say I'm not sure what hidden bot is. And when you say air, is it just magenta? Is it just like a bright purple color? Oh, gotcha. There's a good chance that robot might have some security protections. If that's a model that you're not sure where it came from originally, then that might be some security features. Um, so that's definitely not a problem I've ever encountered, having it be a completely different model. Sounds to me like just my friend. I would have them double check that your. Sometimes I get it when I swap into Test Abby and it hiccups when loading. There's definitely something wrong with the upload process. If it's fine on your end, then I would double check your project settings. So I would make sure that make sure your project's using Creator Companion and double check that you have the exact same version of everything that you're using. All your VRChat projects, if you have any add-ons that you're using, make sure the Unity version's right. Because that's definitely odd. It's definitely really odd. Potentially no. I'll ask you what he has. I think me and him are using the same thing though. It should, if you are confident that the project's exactly the same and it's still uploading and it just happens to be at the wrong model, it seems like something's going wrong in the upload process. Perhaps have them make a completely new avatar ID that they're uploading to, like if there's a different ID slot. Because if they're trying to upload to the same avatar ID and that one's always breaking, try making a new one as well. Yeah, so check your projects are exactly the same, and then if they are, then I would make a new avatar ID. So the blueprint, the avatar blueprint, delete that, upload from scratch to a new avatar ID. Sounds good. I'm gonna rotate. I want to align it. I want to align a vector. Rotate or moving doesn't make sense. Line Euler 2 vector. It's gotta be it here. So we get the normal. We have our rotation. because I still would like to mix vectors. Instead of a switch, we can just mix the vector. This rotation, and then this will use our influence, normal influence. Perfect. Go to normal influence. Wait, normal influence, and we get rid of this one. Yeah, and it doesn't matter the rotation at that point, because it's always going to snap back to the normals. All right, we did figure it out. Align Euler to vector. Because a rotation doesn't make sense. It's not like subtraction or addition. Rotations are funky. Hmm. I might need another align Euler to vector inside this. Here, hello, Snartup. Hello, welcome. We're doing some spaghetti today. Getting in that old spaghetti. Old spaghetti. Selling Italian food now. We're still working on our little cave generator here. Making some, I would say, pretty comprehensive nodes. But of course, normals are challenging, as you know very well. So we just figured out how to align a bit better. Normals are easy. JK, I'm already having PTSD. Yeah, what I need to figure out right now is, so if we go to my stalactites here, I turn off the normal influence on our ability to, if the rotation's 0, 0, 0, I give it rotation. Oh no, that's totally expected. Never mind, it is working. Ignore me! I think we fixed it with some of this other stuff. Well, they're actually quite aligned here. Because of this. Just need to remember that. First, get the direction you want, then add the variation. Don't try to get the direction you want with the variation. Oh no, that is okay. So that is going. Why is it spinning? 0 is perfectly straight. No, there is variation. Never mind. Insane. Okay, yeah, we can spin it. Rotate it. They'll generally point in the positive direction, though. That's not what I'd like. No, not all of them. Actually, I take that back. This one's pointing the other way. Yeah, these are going either direction. But they do generally seem to be going too much pattern. Definitely working well enough. So this normal influence, where do you get the normal from? Just asking, you probably already know this, but say if you go to geometry, if you go geometry to say points and whatnot, and then back to geometry, for example, your normals are foobar. You want to capture attribute first. But it's not probably not useful now you already knew that. Just have this snapshot random info every once in a while, as you know by now. For the last hour, I'm trying to get that capture attribute to work. But the problem is that, I'm trying to transfer those normals to points that didn't exist beforehand. So what I figured out is that I could just use this sample nearest surface node, and that got me what I wanted. So that way they're not interlinked and I don't have to worry about the order. I can just go at any point, take this geometry, take those normals, boom. Now we've got this nice little normal fall off. So I think we're actually going to want to tweak this a little bit more. Yeah, but no, we get the normal rotation. We align it. Then we do the random range. But what I'm thinking is that I actually want to do this blending before I do the rotation. So, that's what no. I'd want the, okay. Having trouble to capture attribute node in general, or just in this case? It's just because I'm not passing out geometry at the end. I'm just passing out points or instances. Node is Cosmos synthetics to get used to using, and I'm still not all that used to Node, so hopefully considering this just amateur ranting. But yeah, so like in here, I give it the geometry to start with, and all it's doing is creating these points. And then if I want to align the normals, then I can feed it whatever geometry I want to align the normals with. So I don't necessarily have to use my original geometry. I could plug in a sphere or whatever, anything that I want to align those normals with. It's always a plane/monkey. Do you want to? Oh, interesting. Oh, that's kind of cool. You can actually just fucking rotate it. Oh, let's go. Fucking love geometry nodes. Holy shit. They're so cool, but so challenging. Alright, so we got the vector, and yeah, this target direction one will also switch to a subtype direction. That way this is normalized. I don't know how much I want it to be. I guess that's kind of nice. You know, it's super cool. The problem for me usually is I realize after the fact of making something, I probably should have done this with nodes. Hello, Sky. Good morning. Welcome. My handed array/spine shirt. Wow, it's challenging, yeah. I think they even have like just a straight up, I forget what the tessellation node or whatever the term is. Okay, what am I trying to figure out? Yeah, I want to get my... That's a named attribute. Right, yes, this is my vertex group one. I'm looking at this one. Distribute points in a direction. Looking at these guys. Because what I'm thinking is that we can use the original rotation or the normal direction, but then we want to rotate based off of those positions and do the changes after that. So we would take this and then so this is our normal aligned one, which we would then want to add our rotation back into, because this way I could just say rotation is 0, but now it's using the normal influence. And then I can rotate based on the normals afterwards, which is nice. Or I can just do a manual rotation to figure out whatever I want. I guess that's it. We're either adding nothing. Yeah, okay, perfect. That's pretty simple. Funny little setup there. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I want. We have no influence, do a manual rotation, or we do our normal influence and then rotate based off of that, which is probably what we're going to want to do most of the time. Awesome. Awesome pizzazz. Okay, next what I'd like to create is, we did this mask here where we could point mask direction. Then I want to point mask vertex group. I want to also be able to take a vertex group and remove points based on the proximity to that vertex group. So we'll do that for the stalactites. We're basically going to have these rocks. So these rocks in here and kind of up here should be gone. To do that, first we'll need to delete geometry. Delete all of them. Then we want to do it with our selection. Or should this be contagious cave generation? Or are we going to conquer the world while we're at it? This should be the final thing for what we need at this point. Fingers crossed. Because I just want a good scatter system that updates automatically, that you can change with vertex, and that you have some ability to manually control. I think this should be it. Fingers crossed. I don't mind though. Blender is love. Either way. I do love Blender. I think even if I'm struggling here, it's like the more geometry nodes I can learn, the better, for sure. Like, it just, I will benefit a lot doing it this way. So much. Too much. Like, I'm thinking I could make like eyelash generators super quickly. I could make tons of stuff. I'm going to delete the geometry based on the attribute. Named attribute. In this case, our vertex group. What is it called? Rock placement. And so that we just want to compare. Is this attribute greater than this? We can scale it up to give it like a range. So I believe if I paint here, we get more rocks and they get rid of the stalactites. Oh, because those are sharing the group. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just apply one level of subdivision here. Duplicate, apply this one. That way we get just a little bit more resolution to paint. I'm glad they added the ability to hit Control, paint out. Also, I've not booted Blender yet, but can we access vertex colors in GeoNodes? Yes. Yes, so that's what I'm doing here. This is the... So we can. It's just the attribute. So as long as you've got a vertex group, you can use the named attribute to access it. So take these, we'll put these into their own little group. We'll call point mask vertex group. And here we would like to first give the vertex group name so we can figure it out, and then the fall off. Pretty much it. So yeah, vertex group name, and this one, just say attribute actually. Fall. And for the fall off, we'll cap it from 0 to 1. So that's the range. The default will be 0.5. In fact, I could tell it to be a factor. Wait, we've got this nice little slider. Cool. And these are basically the opposites. First, we can distribute points in a vertex group. Second, we can mask them out based on a direction. Or we can distribute points based on a surface and then paint them out with the vertex group. Which is funny. Okay. I think this is all we need now. The original Geo. Just a pretty simple scatter system. And I think once we get back from lunch, we'll make some better rock assets, better textures, just some simple little assets to go in here. I think I'm gonna make like 5 things. Pointy rocks, a few types of rocks, and then some fungus, and that's it. Well, it might be nice to make some corresponding materials in a Unity. That way I can have like a nice little blend. Or there's a lot of tools for Blender. There's not as many tools made to use in Blender and Unity. I think that's a market that it's not often catered to. All right, I think we're gonna call it here because it's a little early, but I think it's a good stopping point. When I come back, and we'll get some, some of that. We'll get some rocks made. Yeah, I think just follow through on that plan I just described. Oh, it's some water would be nice, I think. But this will be my little goblin cave generator that we'll be using moving forward. Something pretty simple. Ooh. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for joining me this morning. I know we're ending just a little bit early, but we're going to be doing a very late day today. I think we'll be pushing to try and kind of get out quite a few projects because I want to wrap most of this one up today and then switch over to my modular cottage that we'll be working on this afternoon. Cool. Have a good lunch. Thank you, Sky. Have a nice break. I will. Anyway, enjoy. Thank you all. Thank you all for hanging out. Search for rocks, easy mode. You know how to make rocks. Just store in Ramp Shadow again. Use displace modifier. Set it to world space. Random rocks. That's not a bad idea at all. I think I'll include that as like a prefab. I just want to get a good texture for it. I think it's my main goal. But thank you all for hanging out. Hope you're all having an amazing day. And we'll catch you all very, very soon. I'll be back in about an hour and a half. So see you then. If anyone's new there, definitely hit that follow and subscribe. All that jazz. You know the drill. See you soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.